As the apocalypse loomed, my only thought was to rush home and bunker down with my wife and son. I didn't expect to find her bringing a male colleague home with her. They were using the emergency food I had stockpiled to cook a candlelight dinner, and then had the nerve to blame me for ruining the mood. For the sake of my child, I had no choice but to risk my life going back out to scavenge for more supplies. That's when I heard the mechanical voice coming from inside my wife. "Host, you are doing amazing. You've easily manipulated him. His devotion score is nearly maxed out. You are destined to be the final protagonist of this apocalypse." I let out a bitter laugh, grabbed the waterproof gear I had fought tooth and nail for, and walked out alone. The news had been broadcasting warnings about a corrosive rainstorm set to hit in 2 hours. The moment my company sent out the dismissal notice, I confirmed my wife, Jessica, was picking up our son, Leo, and I sprinted to Costco to secure supplies. I fought through the chaotic crowds for over an hour, managing to grab a case of instant noodles, a box of crackers, and 10 gallons of water. It cost me $5,000 in price gouge cash. On the drive back, I comforted myself thinking that my habit of prepping meant the stockpile at home would be enough to sustain the three of us for a while. I rushed through the front door, anxiety pumping through my veins, only to freeze in the entryway. My wife, Jessica, was sitting on the sofa, laughing intimately with another man. She stood up to introduce him. "This is my co-worker, Ryan. He didn't have any supplies at his place, so I brought him here. Otherwise, he'd starve all alone." As a hardcore fan of dystopian novels, I had maintained a high level of vigilance regarding this abnormal weather report. I wasn't charitable enough to house a stranger when our own supplies were barely sufficient. I pulled Jessica onto the balcony and whispered urgently, "Our supplies might not even be enough for us. Tell him to go to a relative or friend's house. If you're too embarrassed to say it, I'll be the bad guy." Unexpectedly, Jessica snapped back immediately. "Ethan, the rain is about to start. Where's he supposed to go? Besides, it's only going to rain for a few days. The supermarkets are empty. Do you expect me to stand by and watch him starve to death? How can you be so heartless?" Just then, my son Leo's voice drifted from the living room. "Uncle Ryan, you're so cool. Can you stay and play with me forever?" Jessica shot me a glare and made the final call. "Enough. It's decided. Don't make a scene over nothing. I have a headache." As we spoke, the first drops began to fall, dense and heavy. I looked up. The clouds in the distance were churning, the storm intensifying. Suddenly, screams of agony erupted from the streets below. People who hadn't made it inside in time were writhing in pain. On the TV, a reporter covering the storm of the century was suddenly tackled by a desperate pedestrian stealing his protective rain gear. Exposed to the downpour, half the reporter's body began to smoke and dissolve instantly. Wailing sirens and human screams filled the air. Ryan looked at me nervously. Jessica huffed. "Ryan, it's fine. You're staying here." He quickly turned to me, bowing his head. "I really appreciate it, Ethan." I swallowed my anger. I couldn't kick him out now without sending him to his death, and I didn't want to put Jessica in a difficult position. Forget it. For safety, I grabbed my tools to board up the windows. I needed someone to hand me the plywood planks, so I looked at Ryan. "Hey, come help me with the wood." "But can't you do it yourself?" Jessica cut in, shielding him. "Look how thin Ryan is. His hands are for playing piano, not manual labor. What if he gets hurt?" Her voice sharpened. "Let me tell you, Ethan Cole, he is here as a guest, not a slave." Ryan hid behind her, giving me a look of faux helplessness. But men understand men. I didn't miss the glint of provocation and triumph in his eyes. The rain fell relentlessly for a month without showing any sign of stopping. More and more people died from starvation, and the entire city of Seattle was shrouded in panic. Out of respect for my wife, I tolerated Ryan. But watching our food supply dwindle, I couldn't help but discuss it with her one night. "We're running low. Maybe Ryan should contact someone he knows to help him move on." Jessica frowned, clearly annoyed. "Ethan, how many times do I have to tell you? He's my colleague. What kind of jealous fit are you throwing? In this weather, are you really evil enough to push someone out to die?" Even though I'd heard this accusation a dozen times this month, it still stung. I just wanted to protect my wife and child. Was that wrong? Lost in these heavy thoughts, I drifted off to sleep. I had been suffering from insomnia, so when I woke up again, it was already 11:00 p.m. The savory smell of steak drifted into the room. Having not eaten meat in ages, I stumbled out, groggy and guided by the scent. The scene before me woke me up instantly. 2 carved candles flickered on the table, which was set with a French tablecloth. On exquisite china sat 6 pristine steaks. My wife and Ryan were sitting face to face, clinking wine glasses. "Here's to our candlelight dinner." "So romantic," Ryan said softly. The living room was dim. They didn't see me. Jessica smiled, a shy dimple appearing on her cheek, and whispered, "I'm so happy." Ryan reached out and patted her head affectionately. "If you like it, I'll cook for you again next time." Then my son came bounding out of the kitchen, holding a plate of fried chicken. "Daddy Ryan, the chicken is red." "Dad!" He saw me and gasped, shattering the intimate atmosphere. Ryan looked smug as he carefully placed a cut piece of steak onto Jessica's plate. I saw red. I stormed over and grabbed Ryan by the collar. "What the hell is the meaning of this?" I had been saving that meat. I didn't know how long this apocalypse would last, so I hoarded the protein for my wife and son for when things got desperate. And now, they had fried up my entire secret stash for a date night. Jessica slammed her chopsticks onto the table, pried my hand off Ryan, and stood in front of him. "Ethan, what is your problem? Why are you so stingy? Can't you be generous like other men? Being married to you is such bad luck." Even now, Jessica didn't think she was wrong. My voice rasped. I couldn't bear to eat that. I was saving it for a real emergency. Ryan apologized with a sincere tone. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I didn't know you were hiding it. I just saw that Jess hadn't eaten meat in so long. I wanted to make something nice for her." It was laughable. They had meat yesterday. I was the one who hadn't touched protein in weeks. Jessica, who had been shielding Ryan, now stood beside him, holding his hand. "You don't need to apologize. It's not your fault." She turned to me. "Ethan, you don't have a romantic bone in your body, and now you're blaming others for surprising me? Great. Because of your filthy mind, no one can eat now." Watching the bedroom door slam shut, my fingers trembled. That night, because my son ate too much grease, he developed a high fever. Jessica merely ordered me, cold as ice, "Go watch your son. If anything happens to him, I won't forgive you." I stayed by his side for 3 days and 3 nights. Meanwhile, my wife was in the living room enjoying Ryan playing the piano. She said, "Leo is suffering so much. Listening to music will help him relax. It's so hard on Ryan to play for so long." In the beginning, I would have screamed, fought, thrown a tantrum. Now, I just didn't care. I made a plan in my heart. When my son woke up, I'd ask him if he wanted to leave with me. If he did, I'd take him. In the middle of the night, Leo woke up and hugged me tightly. My heart softened into a puddle. He sobbed, "Why can't you be nicer to Mom? I don't want you guys to divorce." I pulled him back gently. "Leo, Dad is going to leave. Do you want to come?" He just kept crying. "It's all your fault for being mean to Mom. That's why she talks to Daddy Uncle Ryan. If you cared about Mom, she wouldn't be like this. I don't want you to divorce." Seeing him cry so pitifully, my resolve wavered. He was my child. A childhood missing either parent is incomplete. I finally understood why people say children are the shackles of parents. It's not that they are a burden. It's that as a parent, you can't bear to leave them. Under their lavish consumption, the food eventually bottomed out. While passing the guest room, I heard my wife and Ryan plotting. "The food is almost gone. We need to find a way to get Ethan to go out and scavenge." Will he agree? He already hates me. He probably wishes I'd starve. Ryan's self-awareness was surprisingly accurate. My wife scoffed. Does he dare refuse? As long as I ask, he'll go wagging his tail. True. Everyone knows that idiot is obsessed with you. Exactly. When we first got married, there was a massive storm. I said I wanted wonton soup from that specific place in Portland. He drove 3 hours through freezing rain to buy it and delivered it to my office. I vaguely remembered that. She had a stomach ache and wanted that specific soup. I braved sub-zero temperatures and icy roads to get it. Waiting for the elevator back then, I heard her colleagues gossiping. "OMG, your boyfriend actually went to the next city to get it? That's intense." "It's hilarious." Jessica had laughed back then. "Does he know you only asked for it because you lost a bet? He's the ultimate simp. Undefeated." Another colleague jeered. At the time, I hadn't taken it to heart. I felt proud of being a good man who spoiled his girlfriend. Now, looking back, they were probably mocking my stupidity behind my back the whole time. The next day, when my wife brought me going out to find food, I spoke coldly. "Let him go. He eats and lives here. He should contribute. Otherwise, he's just dead weight." She scolded me. "Ethan Cole, I am speechless. How can a man be like you? I regret marrying you." She turned to leave, pausing for a second, waiting for me to chase her. Before, I would have followed, offering sweet words and apologies. But now, I just sat on the couch calmly, scrolling through the local disaster updates on my phone. I didn't stop her. She started a Cold War, ignoring me. I didn't care. A few days later, my son ran over, begging, "Dad, we're almost out of food. I don't want to starve. Go buy food for me." I had checked the pantry. We had enough for maybe 3 days. Facing the apocalypse, personal grievances felt petty. Seeing Ryan refuse to move, I couldn't harden my heart enough to let my son starve. So, armed with a makeshift weapon, I went out alone. The streets reeked of blood and rot. The sky was a dull, oppressive gray, silently narrating the desolation of the end times. I moved slowly toward the convenience store, watching for ambushes. I wasn't being paranoid. In extreme danger, humans revert to primal beasts. To survive, they will do anything. I found a convenience store with an unlocked door. After checking the perimeter, I rushed in and filled the plastic bags I'd prepared. Despite my caution, I was targeted by other scavengers on my way out. "Hey buddy, drop the food, and we might not kill you." I gripped the plastic bags until my knuckles turned white, feigning calm. "You're committing a crime." They laughed maniacally. "A crime? The government is hiding in bunkers while leaving us nobodies out here to die. And you're talking about crime? Buddy, don't be naive. Look at the bodies on the ground. Most of them were killed by their own neighbors." I seized the moment and kicked the guy on the right. His partners reacted instantly, rushing me. I felt a sharp pain in my leg, my knees buckling, but I knew I couldn't stop. If I stopped, I died. If I didn't bring food back, my child would starve. During the struggle, my protective raincoat was torn off. The acidic rain instantly seared my arm, burning the skin. I didn't have time to check the wound. I threw the bag over my shoulder and sprinted toward home. When I got inside and saw no one had followed, I collapsed, relieved. Jessica rushed over, snatched the bag, and looked inside with disgust. "Ethan, this is all you got? How many days will this last? You're so useless. Go back out and get more." "Yeah, Dad," Leo chimed in. "That's barely enough for a few meals." The three of them huddled around the bag, discussing what to eat for dinner. They completely ignored the massive, chemical burn scar on my arm. I let out a self-deprecating chuckle. Suddenly, I felt so tired. I didn't have the energy to argue. I just wanted to sleep. But as I turned, I heard that voice again, the one that didn't belong in a room. "Host, we're finally at this stage. His devotion score is at 95%. Just a little more, and you can do whatever you want in this apocalypse. You'll be the main character. I've been waiting for this day, ever since I pretended to have a cold just to gain his sympathy. Please maintain the momentum, host. Stimulate him. Trigger his ultimate simp instincts." Confused, I looked around for the source of the electronic sound. Then I heard my wife reply to it in a cheerful internal voice. "Once the mission is done, I'll dump him and be the queen of the wasteland." Look at his sour face. He'll come crawling back to apologize soon enough. Listening for a moment longer, I realized my wife had a system. I didn't know why I could hear their telepathic conversation, but I understood that I was her conquest target. Once my devotion score hit 100%, she would get what she wanted. I was just a stepping stone for her to gain power. Late that night, my son snuck into her room. I heard him whisper, "Mom, is it okay to be so mean to him? Should we give him a little sweetness? What's the plan? I'm sick of him. I want to live with you and Daddy Ryan." My wife replied confidently, "Don't worry. Everything is under my control. He's just throwing a tantrum. Don't you dare go act nice to him." Back in the day, his parents tried to stop us from getting married. I shed a few tears, and he went crying to them to beg for their blessing. Good thing his parents died early, so I could take charge of the family assets as soon as I married in. I estimate the mission will be complete in a day or two. Then, Mom will give you whatever you want. Hearing this, I fought to suppress the blood rushing to my head. My eyes turned ice cold. My family made millions a year. When I graduated, my father made me start as an intern at the bottom of the company to learn the ropes. That's where I met Jessica, a fellow intern. She seemed elegant in conversation, serious about her work, often staying late for projects. I used to tease her. "We're just interns. Killing ourselves for the company doesn't pay off." She had told me earnestly, "As long as we try hard, we have a clear conscience. If we take the company's money, we should work hard." But her competence was actually terrible. The manager was going to fire her. I was the one who pulled strings behind the scenes to keep her. Because of that, I saw her in a favorable light. We fell in love and dated for 5 years. When I told my parents I wanted to marry her, they, who usually respected my decisions, objected strongly. "Ethan, listen to Mom. Break up with her. She isn't right for you." I wouldn't listen. I went into a cold war with my parents. Later, they died in a car accident, their vehicle rolling off a cliff on a mountain road. I regretted it every day. During my grief, Jessica handled the funeral arrangements and comforted me. I swore then to marry her and never let her down. Recalling her conversation with our son, I couldn't stop sneering. I thought Jessica was just using me for some bullshit task, but I never expected my son to be in on it. They were both deceiving me. Disappointment accumulates. No matter how much love there was, it had been ground to dust. I refused to be their stepping stone any longer. Under the cover of night, I grabbed a weapon and a backpack of food. I silently opened the front door. Where are you going, Ethan? Ryan's jarring voice broke the silence, waking Jessica. Due to the constant rain, the house's wiring was shot, so we lived by dim battery lights. I looked straight into Jessica's eyes. I leave, or he leaves. Pick one. Jessica crossed her arms and leaned against the doorframe, sneering. Ethan, if you have the guts to leave, don't come back. I told you Ryan and I are just colleagues. There's a limit to your jealousy. Aren't you tired of acting like this? I am. He nodded, signaling he understood. I put on my boots and walked out without hesitation. The moment the door closed, I heard the electronic notification. Devotion score -20. Current score 75. Host, critical failure. Do not give up. Jessica panicked for a second, watching the door close. Then she laughed. There is no man I can't manipulate. In this apocalypse, where can he go? He'll come crawling back like a good dog. Just wait. When he comes back, I'm going to humiliate him. I left the house and contacted my childhood friend, Willow Banks. Our families have been close since our grandfather's generation. She was the only person I could turn to. Soon, I received a text with coordinates. I arrived at Willow's secure compound in the rain. She saw me soaked and looked worried. Even with protective gear, you shouldn't be out in this. There are people without gear who might mug you. Did you run out of food? Wait here, I have plenty. She immediately went to her pantry to pack bags for me. I couldn't stop her. I sighed helplessly. No, Guido, I left that house. I'm here to crash with you. I switched to the teasing tone we used as kids. Could you find it in your heart to take in a homeless wanderer? Willow's eyes suddenly lit up, brighter than the weak emergency lights in the darkness. All right, I'll reluctantly take you in. She killed the only light in the house and stood by the door, listening to the movement outside. After a moment, confirming no one was around, she skillfully navigated the dark to the kitchen, grabbing instant rice, meat, and vegetables to cook over a camping stove. Only when the food was ready did she turn the light back on. Done. My stomach had been growling since I saw the meat. I didn't stand on ceremony. I devoured the meal. How have you been? Still at the old company? Why didn't you go back to your family? Willow shook her head. No, I switched jobs. I didn't have time to go back. I have enough food here, and the roads are unpredictable. It's safer to stay put. Why didn't you stay at that company? I stopped mid-sentence, the realization hitting me. The last time I contacted Willow was 2 years ago. Since our families were close, we used to celebrate birthdays together. That year, for Willow's birthday, I saw on her social media she wanted a specific laptop, so I bought it early and left it at home. Jessica knew she was my childhood friend, but the day I came home from work, I found Jessica smashing the laptop to pieces. I frowned and asked what was wrong. She pointed at my nose and screamed, Ethan, we're married and you're buying her birthday gifts? You have no shame. I didn't understand how this equated to having no shame. I buy one every year. You helped me pick them out years ago. She accused me angrily. You're married now? Is it appropriate to keep contacting her? We only talk twice a year. I don't care. You are not going to her birthday. In the end, I had to make a flimsy excuse to Willow about being busy. But when Jessica found out I had texted her an apology, she exploded. You just don't go. Why text her? Do I mean nothing to you? It's basic politeness. Ethan, is she more important than me? I'm your wife. Do you have a conscience? Under her constant interrogation, I began to question myself. Was I doing something wrong? I transferred $200,000 to Jessica and bought her luxury bags before she would even speak to me again. I thought it was over, but I never imagined Jessica would go to Willow's company. When I rushed over, I found her screaming, pulling Willow's hair. You slut. Let's see if you dare seduce my husband again. Making him buy you gifts? Who do you think you are? Everyone look. This shameless homewrecker is using her childhood history to make my husband spend money on her. Who is the boss here? Aren't you afraid keeping a mistress on staff will ruin your company's image? Willow came from a polite, educated family and was physically no match for Jessica. She looked like a rag doll in Jessica's grip, eyes misty, voice trembling. Mrs. Cole, I don't know why you think this, but I have never tried to interfere in your marriage. Bullshit. Does a mistress admit she's a mistress? Seeing me arrive, Jessica sat on the floor and started throwing a tantrum. It was a side of her I didn't recognize. My life is so hard. I've been with my husband through everything, and this slut does nothing but spend his money. Onlookers pointed fingers at Willow and me, as if we really had a sordid affair. But we were innocent. I rushed to Jessica. What is wrong? Let's get up and talk. If I did something wrong, tell me, I'll change. Just stop making a scene. She shook off my hand. Unless you promise to give me full control of the finances from now on. If you want to spend a single cent, you have to report it to me. Otherwise, I'm not getting up. I frowned, rubbing my temples. This was unreasonable. She already managed most of the finances, but I kept a small account for business networking. But to stop her from humiliating Willow further, I thought peace at any price and agreed. She stood up, deliberately shoulder-checking Willow as she walked past, eyes full of triumph. I didn't dare speak to Willow, only casting an apologetic glance before following Jessica out. That must have been when Willow left that company. She loved that job. The resources and growth potential were huge. Willow, I'm sorry. That incident caused you so much trouble. I was such a spineless idiot back then. Willow smiled gently. It's okay. I was planning to leave anyway. I'm doing well now. I even became the head of the creative department at my new place. 2 days later, seeing I hadn't returned, Jessica somehow found a working phone and had Leo call me. Dad, where are you? We're out of food. I'm going to starve. How could you abandon us? My son opened with an accusation, never asking if I was safe or fed. Now I saw clearly how selfish Jessica had raised him to be. If you're hungry, don't tell me. There's protective gear in the house. Ask your Uncle Ryan to go scavenge. I was warm and fed at Willow's. Why would I go back to suffer and be used? Jessica snatched the phone, her voice stern. Where are you right now? When I didn't answer, she continued. Ethan, you don't have any friends. You didn't go to Willow's, did you? I hung up. That night, just as I set the table to eat with Willow, the doorbell rang. We jumped. We exchanged a look, and I crept to the door. A familiar roar came from outside. Ethan, open the door. If you don't, I'll keep knocking and let everyone know there's food in here. I blocked the doorway, looking at them with disgust. What do you want? Jessica pushed me aside, acting like she owned the place. Pack up some food bags and come back with us. I'm not going back. I heard the electronic voice. Ethan's devotion score is down at 10%. Donji. Jessica anxiously asked it internally. Is there any other way? Like a charm item to make him think I'm the best and love me to death. I was shocked. I used to like her because she used items on me, though, knowing my personality, I wouldn't naturally fall for someone who constantly belittled me. None left, host. I told you, that item only lasts a few years. You didn't utilize it well when it was active. Otherwise, with the apocalypse plus the item, you would have completed the mission long ago. Fine, you're annoying. Even without the stupid item, I can handle him. While I was distracted, Jessica started insulting Willow. Hooking up with someone else's husband. Shameless bitch. Do you have no shame? I snapped. You come to someone's house and insult them? Talk about having a double standard. Ethan, you what? Don't think I don't know about you and your colleague. Once the mask is off, it gets ugly for everyone. Her eyes darted around nervously. What relationship? Don't talk nonsense. Isn't he your lover? He's too helpless to survive alone. So you have to save him? Does he not have hands or a face? Ryan waved his hands frantically. Ethan, you misunderstand. Jess and I are just colleagues. She has a good heart and was afraid I'd get hurt, so she let me hide at her place. I didn't expect the rain to last this long. Keep acting, I spat. His face turned green, then white. He forced a polite smile at Willow. And this young lady is... your mother, I deadpanned. I thought I still had some affection for Jessica, but realizing I felt no reluctance or sadness, just relief, felt amazing. My son smelled the meat, ran to the table, and started wolfing it down. Put it down. Where are your manners? Willow intervened gently. It's okay. He's growing. I'll make more. The three of them ate like starving ghosts. Still unsatisfied, they sprawled out on the couch. I realize this place is better than ours. Starting now, we live here. Willow, you're in charge of cooking daily. We are guests. I had seen shameless people, but never this shameless. I almost laughed out of pure rage. Report. Ethan's devotion index is 0. Jessica paused, then switched to her softest, most saccharine voice. Hubby, let's sleep together tonight. Goosebumps erupted all over my skin. My son chimed in with an assist. Dad, just make up with Mom. Couples fight, but they make up. You're a man. Why are you being so petty? My heart remained flat. Before, I thought he was just a kid who didn't want his parents to split. Now, looking closely, his small eyes were full of calculation. If you're done eating, get out. This isn't your house, and there's no room for you. Seeing I wasn't budging, Jessica signaled Leo. He understood instantly. He ran over and hugged Willow's legs, shaking them gently. Annie, Willow, we have no food at home. I don't want to go back. It's dangerous outside. People are killing for food. I am scared. Let me stay, please. Willow sighed and walked up to Jessica. For the sake of the child, I can let you stay one night. But tomorrow morning, you must leave. I'm not a saint. Considering how you slandered me before, I'm only doing this for Ethan's sake. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I just didn't want to ruin his marriage. And now you expect me to repay hatred with kindness? I don't know what goes on in your brain. For once, Jessica didn't argue back. She pulled a face and dragged Leo into the guest room. Watching their backs, worry creased my brow. This night would not be peaceful. For safety, I couldn't sleep. I stayed up to keep watch. I heard movement from Jessica's room and walked over curiously. Honey, you haven't taken care of me in so long. Ryan's voice leaked through the door. Host, mission failed. I am seeking a new host. Don't go. I can still succeed. Give me a little more time. Jessica shouted, struggling. She tried everything, but the system abandoned her. Her protagonist's dream shattered. She turned her rage on Ryan. Get off. Don't annoy me. Ryan, putting on a simpering smile, leaned in. It's fine. No one will know. Let's have some fun. What, are you shy? Jessica, we even have a child together. Ethan still doesn't know he's been raising someone else's kid for years, does he? I stood there, thunderstruck. Past details flooded my mind. No wonder Leo never got close to me unless he wanted something. Colleagues used to say he didn't look like me, but I never doubted because he looked so much like Jessica. But now, recalling his face, the brow and eyes were exactly like Ryan's. Jessica pushed him away impatiently. Don't touch me. We're done. Ethan is way better than you. I was blind to choose you before. Blind? That's not what you said back then. And you think Ethan wants you back? If you stood in front of him now, he wouldn't even look at you. Jessica, furious, grabbed an object from the table and threw it at him. Take those words to your grave. If you want your son to starve, make a bigger scene. We can all die together. I clenched my fists, a desolate sadness filling my eyes. All these years, I had been a joke. I couldn't take it anymore. I kicked the door open, a low roar in my throat. Are you done talking? Get the hell out. Panic flashed in Jessica's eyes. She scrambled to grab my sleeve. Ethan, let me explain. It's not what you think. I cut her off. It doesn't matter. Leave. I never want to see you again. I walked into the room and yanked their son out of bed. Ethan, it's so late. It's unsafe. Isn't it bad to kick the boy out? Correction. It's your son. Not mine. Not my problem. Ethan, do you have to be so heartless? You raised him for years. Yeah, I was a sucker for years. Funny, right? Realizing I was dead set on kicking them out, Jessica retreated to a strategic compromise. Fina, you calm down first. I'll come find you in a few days. Don't come back. You disgust me. After they left, Willow rushed over, looking concerned. I shrugged and smiled easily. Everything is good. It was the truth. In that moment, I felt like I had shed a massive burden. No matter how Jessica tried to contact me, I ignored her. She sent texts saying she regretted it, she was wrong, begging me to come back, claiming she would cherish me. I was just bored by it. I discussed moving to a new location with Willow, as this safe house was compromised. I knew Jessica. If she couldn't get what she wanted, she'd scorch the earth. Maybe lead raiders here. 7 days later, I heard rumors. Ryan went out to scavenge and got jumped. He couldn't fight back. His leg was crippled, and his face was horribly disfigured by the acid rain. His temper turned violent, and he started beating people at home, eventually forcing Jessica to go out and scavenge. While following Jessica on a supply run, their son was snatched by raiders. In the apocalypse, with everyone starving and human nature at its worst, his fate was grim. Jessica snapped. She took a knife and stabbed Ryan 18 times. But in the end, weakened by long-term starvation, she died alone in that house. When I heard this, I felt nothing. We had moved long ago. Willow had plenty of supplies. She asked me proudly, I'm amazing, right? Foresight to stockpile. I chuckled. Amazing. The only reason I had a habit of stockpiling was because I learned it from Willow. 6 months later, the rain finally stopped. The news broadcasted that the catastrophe had passed. People began to emerge, starting the work of rebuilding the city. I took a breath of fresh air. I was full of hope for the future.